The hum of the city is usually a symphony of commerce, but tonight, the music stops at a concrete pillar on the corner of 5th and Main. You slide your plastic lifeline into the narrow, illuminated throat of the ATM. You need $200, a simple request for the digital ghost of your labor. The machine doesn't beep. It doesn't whir with the familiar rhythmic shuffling of notes. Instead, it lets out a long mechanical sigh, a death rattle of circuitry. The screen flickers, the processing icon spinning into an infinite loop of blue light. Then the text appears, stark and cold. Communication failure, system offline. You press the cancel button. Nothing. You press clear. The machine is a brick. It has swallowed your card, and with it, your permission to participate in the physical world. You look down the street. 3 other people are standing at 3 different kiosks, their faces illuminated by the same ghostly blue glow, their fingers frantically stabbing at unresponsive keypads. The air feels heavier. The atmospheric pressure of a liquidity zero event is beginning to settle over the block. You realize with a sudden spike of adrenaline that the electronic handshake between your bank and your life has been retracted. Only 6 hours ago, the world was a frictionless paradise of invisible wealth. You remember the tap at the coffee shop, a millisecond of data transfer that exchanged a fraction of a digit for a caffeinated luxury. We have lived in the era of the great illusion, where the velocity of money was so high it became invisible. You believed that the numbers on your banking app were yours, but they were never yours. They were merely a claim, a please, whispered to a centralized server. The modern economy is built on the arrogance of just-in-time logistics, where cash is treated like a redundant organ, an evolutionary leftover that we no longer need. We traded the security of the vault for the convenience of the cloud. Your mortgage, your car payment, your grocery budget, all of it exists as a flickering pulse in a server farm 3 states away. You walk through the world with the confidence of a king, never realizing that your crown was made of fiber optic cables and your scepter was a lithium-ion battery. The status quo was a fragile peace treaty signed between your trust and their technology. The reason the screen is black isn't a glitch. It's a liquidity trap triggered by a systemic seizure in the repo market. Behind the curtain, banks survive by lending to each other overnight using government bonds as collateral. It is the plumbing of the global empire. But tonight, a what if has become a what is. A major counterparty has failed to deliver. Trust has evaporated. When the interbank lending rate spikes to 10% in a matter of minutes, the pipes freeze. To protect their own survival, the institutions trigger a circuit breaker, a digital iron curtain that drops across the retail network. They aren't just out of cash, they have intentionally severed the link to prevent a systemic bank run. In the cold logic of game theory, the first person to get their money out wins, so the house simply locks the doors. The atmospheric pressure of debt has finally crushed the pump. The bank isn't broken, it is simply closed, indefinitely to you. By 8 a.m., the failure has migrated from the ATM to the supermarket. You stand in aisle 4, your cart filled with the basics of survival: water, canned goods, batteries. The line stretches to the back of the store. At the front, the sound of a plastic card swiping against a terminal is met with a harsh, dual-tone buzz. Declined. The woman at the register tries again. Declined. She tries a different card. Declined. The cashier's voice is rising in pitch, a frantic edge of panic breaking through the professional veneer. The system is down, he says, but the system is a vague god that no one can talk to. Behind you, the murmurs turn into shouts. People begin to realize that their phones, their watches, and their chips are useless pieces of metal and glass. The digital handshake is broken, and without it, the social contract begins to fray at the edges. The manager announces that the store is cash only, and a chilling silence falls over the room. No one has cash. We haven't carried paper in years. The value of your $50,000 savings account is effectively $0 at the point of sale. You watch as a man leaves his full cart in the middle of the aisle and walks out. the look in his eyes changing from frustration to a predatory calculation. The climax of a liquidity zero event is the moment when the financial survival logic takes over. By noon, the gas stations have turned off their pumps because the digital payment infrastructure for the wholesale fuel delivery has crashed. The trucks aren't moving. The just-in-time supply chain is now a never-on-time graveyard. You are forced to perform a brutal audit of your own life. What do you leverage? What do you abandon? In this economic noir reality, your luxury SUV is a 5,000-pound paperweight without a tank of gas. Your high-limit credit card is a useless sliver of PVC. You look at your watch, a smart device that is now just a black mirror reflecting your own growing desperation. The step-by-step breakdown is relentless. First, the loss of convenience. Second, the loss of access. Third, the loss of order. Without the ability to transact, the city becomes a series of disconnected islands. The default isn't just a financial term anymore. It is the default state of human interaction. The void isn't in the markets, it's in the empty shelves and the silent registers. You are witnessing the absolute breaking point of a civilization that forgot how to trade without a permission slip from a server. When the servers eventually blink back to life, days or weeks later, the world will look the same, but the soul of the economy will be permanently scarred. A new world order emerges where counterparty risk is no longer a footnote in an IMF report. It is the ghost that haunts every transaction. You will never look at a tap-to-pay terminal the same way again. You will keep a stack of physical bills under the floorboards, a primitive insurance policy against the next digital blackout. The echo for your wallet is cold and philosophical. Wealth is not a number. Wealth is utility. If you cannot move it, use it, or hold it, you do not own it. You are a tenant in a digital landlord's estate, and you just received your eviction notice. The next time the ATM breathes, remember the sound of its silence. It was the sound of the world ending, not with a bang, but with a transaction timed out message.
Now, when you stand before the glowing rectangle again, the welcome screen feels like a mocking grin. The machine chirps, a cheerful, synthetic bird, but the sound is hollow. You realize the cloud was never a sanctuary. It was a fog designed to hide the cliff's edge. Every swipe is now a high-stakes gamble, a desperate prayer whispered to a centralized god that might go deaf at any heartbeat. Your pockets carry the ghosts of digits, but your shoes hide the cold weight of real metal. The grid is returned, but the trust remains a corpse. You are no longer a citizen of the digital future. You are a survivor of the present, forever listening for the next hum of the machine to flatline.